I have been getting this question a lot. Someone already has the original Rodecaster Pro or the MIXCAST, and they want to know, should I upgrade to the Rodecaster Pro II? This isn't a simple answer. There are a lot of variables in play here, and despite all the rah-rah-rahing of reviewers much like myself, this thing is a big investment and probably not necessary for a lot of people. So let's go over a few different scenarios to see when is the best time to upgrade. Also, I'm going to be approaching this from more of a moderate perspective instead of just trying to sell you on the unit. And for all these, we're going to assume that you have the money in the bank for the investment. Sound good? First up is the intermediate user. Now, this isn't somebody getting into audio for the first time. This is more that person that is looking to expand into more of a podcast interface from something else. We'll cover the first-time user a bit later on. But let's say you're moving up from a Scarlett or something similar. This is the time to ask yourself one thing. Will the money you spend on this unit be paid back over the next little while, either from monetary perspective or time? Let's not kid ourselves. If you're not making money on your content, the money you spend on the Rodecaster Pro II will be a complete loss. Now, if you are making money and you just want something that might improve your flow, well, there you go. Your question's answered. But if you're in the no money camp, well, you're going to have to get creative to how well you sell this idea to both yourself and perhaps your husband or wife. So in this situation, you can justify it by using this purchase to save your time. Perhaps by having better audio with remote guests will free up your post-production time, or just all around better audio. Perhaps having the multi-channel recording option is what you're looking for to speed up your editing as well. Yes, this thing does have great specs and utility, but if you're hoping that this thing will take you over the line to making money, it's not going to do that. So if you are one of those intermediate users, plan accordingly and be realistic about how much this is going to impact your life. And this is probably the most common question. I already have an RCP. Is it worth it for the upgrade? And my first thought is, does the Rodecaster Pro you already have actually get the job done for you? And be honest, because if it does, well, then you're talking about just owning it for the sake of all the extra bells and whistles. No matter how cool the bells and whistles on this thing are, if you've gotten by for this long without them, I don't think it's the best use of your money. Again, as superhuman cool as this thing is, it's not the only thing in your setup that might need an upgrade. You can buy a lot of things with the money you would spend on this. So if you are in this boat and still on the fence, do an honest review of the audio you're getting and ask yourself if there's any other upgrades you think would help more than what the RCP2 does. New microphones? How about some acoustic treatment to clean up your audio? How about a new laptop that doesn't crash every time you open your DAW? That'd be nice. If you can answer all this honestly and you find you're still left wanting that new shiny toy, well, give her. The upgrades you do get are a nice touch, honestly. But remember, outside of some cleaner gain, and frankly, more of that cleaner gain, this thing's not going to make you sound better if the audio you are putting in is trash. Please just keep that in mind. And these are the current or former broadcasters who know what they need, and what they need is in the Rodecaster Pro II. Still though, I wouldn't be jumping online with your money in hand quite yet. Do your homework. And make sure you aren't going to be just fine with the first Rodecaster Pro, or perhaps one of the alternatives. The MIXCAST 4 is also a great option. But going back to the OG RCP, it was a huge go-to for a lot of at-home broadcasters, and still is a very valuable unit. In fact, Rode has committed to continually updating it, and honestly, with a lot of early adopters with the Rodecaster Pro II, that means you can probably find one pretty cheap used. And of course, you know what you need best, so go get her, Jagger. Now, this is the one time I can actually just say yes, this is a great buy. These are the people that are doing their content on a professional level and need a bit more versatility out of their board. And that is one of the coolest features on the Rodecaster Pro II. It's the versatility. Whether it's some multiple storage options for redundancy or the ability to change the actual inputs on the mixer itself, this thing may be the next level for you and your ease of use. It's the little things like talkback, headphone routing. It just makes your whole operation, it's a little bit more fluid. This thing should pay itself off in no time at all. So if you are in this group and hesitating to pull that trigger, I can say this thing is a fantastic option for your next trophy gear. Okay, let's finish this one off with some advice that'll probably fall on deaf ears. And to be honest, I get it. If you are new to the whole recording thing and this is your first foray into recording, I would probably recommend against buying the Rodecaster Pro II. While it is the coolest and newest shiny object to catch your eye, there are a ton of cheaper and easier units you can purchase to get your feet wet. Also, as I mentioned before, this thing isn't a guarantee to great audio, and definitely not for good content. That's up to you. An initial investment into recording voice usually requires a decent microphone. I do recommend the SM58 as baseline, an interface, and some sort of treatment for your space. Now, that last one doesn't have to be top priority for everyone. In fact, there are a lot of rooms that have decent acoustics. But it is worth keeping in mind that a lot of the functionality can be found in much cheaper gear. For instance, a Zoom P4, while nowhere near as powerful as this beast, will get you started and won't kill your pocketbook right away. But who are we kidding? You're sitting there with the money in hand, or at least I hope that's money in your hand. You do you, you special butterfly. And frankly, if you're that determined to get it out of the way, no matter which heading you fall under, as always, the links are below. But if you're very confused at this point and have no idea what the Rodecaster Pro II is, well, here's my review of it. It might be worth a watch.